Hey you guys, it's Fabio coming back with another live video. Real quick guys, I won't take a lot of your time. Um, I'm not, I don't really understand why a lot of times this is not sticking, but I'm going to. Guys, listen, if you have some questions and you're not able to talk to me on a regular basis, a consistent basis, please put your questions out here on the video so I can answer your questions, right? Just please ask this, or at least take notes, guys, when I give you this stuff here. Here's the deal. Here's the deal. I get an email. Someone told me that they're thinking about just quitting the commercial cleaning, business altogether due to the fact that they feel like they slave to the business. You do not have to be slave to the business. Okay? You hear me say this all the time. Either you're going to be the entrepreneur or you're going to be self-employed. Growing the business, guys, real entrepreneurs, nothing happens overnight. In the long term, okay, yeah, you can grow this thing as massive as you want to, right? In the long term. But if you got to be able to decide when, as an entrepreneur, when to start delegating stuff out, okay? Because if you don't start, again, I know how it feels. Again, I've been the guy where I had to start and I was just a one-man operation at one point. So I know how tiring it gets. I know how you feel like, okay, I got 2 or 3 accounts, I can't get any more accounts. It's not that, it's just you got to start delegating out. When it comes down to the point where you feel so tired that you can't even run the business, the administration part of it, just because you're putting so much work in, it might be time to hire somebody, a person or two. I'm not saying you got to have a full core staff. I'm not saying that, but it might be time for you to hire somebody. Okay, guys, it doesn't make no sense to me to pay for a DBA, to spend time to get an EIN, to register with a bank, to be able to have a checking account or a savings account, to go and get insurance for your business, to go through all of these channels just to give up. Just to give up. You already, like, you're close, and some of you even have accounts. Some of you have accounts, like the person that emailed me. They have accounts, but they feel like they slave. They don't want to delegate the work out because people thinking of what if they mess up. You can't have that mentality. Entrepreneurs don't have that mentality. Training is paramount. Okay? Training is paramount. But it's not like when I first started my commercial cleaning business that I had all of the answers. I'll never have all of the answers. But I did what felt comfortable. I trained myself first, just to reiterate stuff that I've been saying for years. I trained myself first. The first 30 to 60 days, I worked in there. It allowed me to save 30 days worth of income, 60 days worth of income, so that was 1 or 2 months. Then I put a body in there. Okay? You guys, again, that works for me. It sounds simple to do. It sounds simple for those that got residential cleaning companies. People they saying all the time, they saying, Fabio, like, look, I won't be able to really. Oh, what, you want to give me a hug?
Yeah, come here.
I'm on live.
You on live?
On my YouTube.
Yeah. Look, my hand.
Yeah. So, you guys, okay, lost my train of thought. Okay, so if you have a residential, same thing, people say, well, people always quitting on me in my residential. Again, training is paramount, you guys. It's going to start off, you're going to have to be everything to everybody in the beginning, right? You're going to have to know your business. I tell people to research, just don't research yourself out of the business. Because sometimes people think if I don't have all the answers, I'm not going to start. That's not the right way to be in business. You're never going to have all the answers. So that means you're never going to start your cleaning business. Okay? So, and another thing I want to tap on, I'm going to come back. If you guys have questions, go ahead and chime in. Another thing that I want to tap in. There's so many people that want to run their business on autopilot. And it can happen. You just have to be strategic. If you can't delegate, autopilot is out of the question. Okay? There's so many people, they want to have accounts here, and then the next account that they have is an hour away from where they live. Okay, so here's the idea, guys. If you get a call, you got something going on, right? I understand you want to grow. I get it. I do, totally. But look, start within your own vicinity. Hello, Fabio. Hello? Hello? So, you have to start in your own vicinity, right? In your own area. Okay? And then you go from there. You expand out from there. But just to go ahead and say, look, I want to go ahead, I want to branch out, I want to go to this city, I want to go to that city. Do not do that off the rip. Build up in your own city. Build up in your own city, your own town. I don't care how big or small it is. Now, if you're not getting any traction in your own city or your own town, okay, go 10 more miles out, go 15 miles out. Whatever you feel comfortable with driving, okay? But if you stand in Cleveland and you want to do business in Columbus or, I don't know, wherever, Cincinnati, whatever the case is, build up Cleveland first. Build up Cleveland first, make a significant amount of money, then grow to Cincinnati or Columbus. Okay? It doesn't make sense to not have nothing working in Cleveland and you're talking about Columbus or you're talking about Cincinnati. It just doesn't make, though this is Ohio for people that don't know where that's at. It doesn't make sense to go to those areas when you don't have one area built up. I didn't just say, okay, I'm gonna start my business in Toledo, and then I said, well, where else I'm gonna go? I'm gonna go to Michigan. I'm gonna start in Michigan too. I built it up in Toledo, made a significant amount of money where the business would run itself. Where the business would run itself. Your business got to be able to run itself on autopilot for you to sustain and be able to. It's got to be, run itself on autopilot for you to be able to sustain yourself and be able to work elsewhere. Okay? It's not going to be an easy task. I know I might make it sound easy or whatever. Just because you don't hear me talk about the Georgia accounts as much or the Ohio accounts as much, guys, I still got to go through the motions of that, right? I still got to check in with my supervisors, people that I have governing those sites for me. I still got to make the calls to the contact people, okay? So again, guys, like I say, I want you to get out there. I want you to really make it happen. But a lot of you guys are scared to delegate. You're beating yourself up about it when you need to start delegating, right? Because if you're at the point where you want to quit or you feel like you're a slave to your business, then it might be time for you to start delegating. Okay? Some people don't want to share the revenue. The revenue come in, you're making, a few hundred, maybe a couple $1,000s or whatever, and you might be like, damn, if I go hire somebody, that's going to eat into this $2,000 that I'm bringing in or this $3,000 that I'm bringing in. It's not how entrepreneurs they want more time so they can elevate their business. So if more time means delegating out, entrepreneurs will delegate out to create more time for them to do other things. Hope that makes sense. They're not pressed about the money. If you give them more time, they will be able to get more money. That's why entrepreneurs, your top executives, your top entrepreneurs, that's why they got a shelf. They got this. Because they care more about time than anything else. Time creates money for them. So they would delegate, have a vendor, have a contractor, whatever the case is, because it creates more time for them. Okay? So again, either, like I say, if you don't have the money, you gotta have the time. If you don't have the time, 9 times out of 10 you're gonna have the money. It's very rare that you got both. Okay? So again, guys, like I say, please start looking in your immediate area. I've talked to a few people that's in my coaching. They say, Fabio, I live in such and such and I want to get contracts in such and such. And I say, okay, cool. Because I don't know the area. I say, about how far is it away? Oh, it's about 1.5 hours. I say, so what if they call you tomorrow and you stay in such and such a town They need a meeting. Now you got to drive an hour and a half in a meeting to meet with them, when it makes more sense to build up this area first and then branch out. And then branch out. Because let's say you go do a walkthrough an hour and a half away and you don't get it. Then what? You still got to drive all the way back home. Boom, and you still don't have a significant amount of contracts in your immediate area. For an example, let's take Detroit. Okay, I got accounts out here in Detroit. But you hear me say I went to Flint, or I'm going to Saginaw, or I'm going to Grand Rapids, or whatever. When I go to those areas, whether I get the contract or I don't get the contract, I do a walkthrough or I don't do a walkthrough, whatever the case is. When I meet with them, whether I get it or I don't, I still have significant business out here, right? I want the contract, obviously, because I went to it, right? I went to go and try to get it. But if I don't get it, I still got business out here in Detroit and surrounding areas. So that's all I'm trying to convey to you guys. Make sure you have your area intact first before you start branching wide, whether it's branching into neighboring cities, neighboring zip codes, whether it's branching to other states. Make sure you have it down packed in your area first. Make sure you have it down packed in your area first, then branch wide. That's the only way autopilot will work. Only way. Autopilot doesn't work well. I'm not getting contracts in Detroit, so forget it. I'm about to just drive up to Saginaw. That's not how autopilot works. Build up in your area first. And when I say build up, not just revenue-wise, I'm talking about with delegation, right? Having your employees, having your employees, having your supervisors. Build up in your area first, and then expand from that. Okay? Build up in your area first, and then expand from that. Okay? Revenue-wise, employees, supervisors. That's going to be your main three things right there that's going to be able to help you run your business on autopilot. Because if you got the proper supervisors, they can govern the accounts that you have in this area, right? So let's take Toledo, Ohio for an example. I got contracts in Toledo, but I have supervisors and I have employees. Many of the employees I've never even seen before, right? But I have people designated to do certain things for me. And an update on the big contract, I got you. I got certain people in certain areas, I have them designated to do certain things for me. But I got the revenue in that area, I got the supervisors in that area, I got the employees in that area. You see where I'm going with the guys? And then I stay, checking in with them, right? Get a little report card from them on a monthly basis. Now I tend to check in with the client once a quarter, right? It's 4 quarters in a year, so at least 4 times a year I check in with the client. Okay? If it's something that we need to know immediately, generally speaking, they'll email us or contact us or call us or whatever the case is. Okay? Again, guys, to me, that's just my way of setting up autopilot. It's not like someone taught me this. I just kind of thought it out and it made sense to me. I say, well, hell, okay, I want to do business. I started out in Toledo. I want to do business in Michigan. I said, well, what do I need to do to make sure I maintain my accounts here in Toledo before I go to Michigan? Common sense stuff. I just started talking to myself. I say, okay, well, what if I go to Michigan and I don't get the contracts? This is me thinking. What if I go to Michigan and I don't get the contracts and I need to return back to Toledo? Then what? I say, oh, well, I'm gonna need a significant amount of revenue because hello? So I say I'm gonna need a significant amount of revenue so I will be able to sustain myself, because remember when I was doing my business on autopilot, I was living off of the money that I was making in Toledo. I was living off of that, right? Because I pay myself once a month, pay myself salary. So I was making a significant amount of money where I was just living off of my card. I needed this, I could swipe. I need to take money out, I could get it, come out of my bank, right? Meantime, I'm trying to build it up in Michigan, right? So I'm soliciting, I'm trying to get new contracts just to repeat what I did in Toledo. So it made sense for me to do it that way. Again, there's more to it, guys. I'm just simplifying it. There's more to it than, the way I'm making it sound. I'm just simplifying and giving you guys an idea on what it takes to really do this stuff on autopilot. It can be done, but you got to be willing to delegate. Now, somebody asked me a question here. He said, "Where are you, bruh?" I'm in Michigan now. Update on the big contract. I can't wait until they call me back and charge them. Oh, you can't wait to charge you for inconvenience. They're still emailing back and forth. Everything isn't concrete. They're more concerned about the numbers and what they'll have to pay. We're not gonna up the price on them, but we keep the price the same. So we're not in the contract yet, but they're still going back and forth with my people via email. So after a while, it really wouldn't be nothing else to talk about, because what's concerning them right now is what they were paying us. And I feel that's widely worth it. They still have the franchise company in there, even though they had a few hiccups during the first day. They still have them there clean. So I don't know, but I'll keep you posted if we get it back. You're gonna see a video. Got the contract back. We back in there, but I just refuse to come down on the numbers. So I think it's well worth it, and so that's what it is at that point. Okay. But yeah, guys, hopefully you guys understand what I'm talking about in this video. If you feel like quitting, you feel like you're a slave to your business, it might be time to branch out. Delegate. Right? I'm not telling you to get a whole staff. Just get one person. Train them well. Train them well. See what their motives are. Try to get understanding, because you don't want a turnstile either. In other words, you don't want just new people circulating, every week or every other week. So you want to train them well, and you want to kind of get to know them. What motivate them. Why they decide to put an application in with you. Right? You want to kind of get to know them a little bit, so you know what type of individual you're working with. Okay? Again, I'm not saying hiring is not easy. I think any entrepreneur can tell you that it's not easy to keep people, especially in the cleaning field. In the cleaning field, it's not easy to keep people aboard, because sometimes people get tired out. Sometimes they just quit. Sometimes they got motives. They just want to work just to get enough money to get a pair of Jordans, new Jordans or whatever, and then they quit. You got to deal with no call, no shows. Again, I can't say that I have all the answers when it comes down to hiring people, because I don't know every single person, right? I don't know what motivates them. I don't know their behavior traits. I don't know, right? But I hire in, if I get a good feel for you, I hire you in, let you work, and in due time, you're going to show me your hand. Precious, I have a relative in Dallas who wants to help me in business, I mentioned in the conversation. The thing is, Precious, you want to build up in your area. You want to build up in your area, like I was telling you on the coaching. You got to build up in your area, Precious. So you're in you're in Houston, but you want to do this contract in Dallas. But you don't have Houston solidified, right? You don't have a significant amount of revenue coming out of Houston. So because you're between both cities, You think like, oh, I can do this. But what if, like I told you on the phone, what if the company in Dallas, what if they called you and say, yes, I need you to be here today within the hour. I need you to be here about an hour. I'm going to be leaving. I want to do a walkthrough and talk over the specifics. You wouldn't be able to do it because you're in Houston. But if you, like I was telling you over the coaching, or over the call, if you delegate it out, build it up in Houston, right? Then you come back into Dallas and build Dallas up. See, when I did it from, let's say, Detroit to Toledo, which is about an hour, 15 minutes, give and take, depending on who's driving. Even though Detroit is close to Toledo, Ohio, I still build it up quite a bit in Toledo, right? I still build it up quite a bit because I'm thinking that every state that I was able to do business in, I lived in. I lived in Stone Mountain, Georgia, so I was able to, it was easy for me to build in Georgia. I stayed in Portsmouth, Virginia, and Virginia Beach, so it was easy for me to do that. But meanwhile, while living in these places, I had revenue coming in from other parts, right? Because I still have to live. I gotta pay rent, I gotta pay bills. I still had to live. But just think if I just moved cold turkey and I said, hey, you know, Virginia, this would be a nice place to start a business and do commercial cleaning, but I didn't have it solidified anywhere else. How would I take care of myself? Either A, I'm gonna have to get a job until I get the ball rolling in VA, or I gotta have some income coming in from somewhere because I have to be able to sustain myself in that specific city and state. So I'm trying to give you guys a visualization when I'm talking about and how I was able to run my business on autopilot and still do it. Is it hard? Yes. It's not an easy task, because now you have to think in a sense of having multiple supervisors. Because what if this supervisor gets sick? What if this supervisor, again, this is how you have to think. When you do this business like a business, you got to think this way. That's why I tell you, always be hiring. You know, I like to bump up from within. You know, I don't like to hire managers from the outside coming in. I like the people that's been under me for a long time. I'll bump them up, providing they want to be bumped up to a supervisor position. That way, when I do hire someone else in, the person or persons that I done bumped up, they can train the new people effectively because they already know the business. So they can help me do my job better because they already know. They've been here for a significant amount of time. That's why I bump up from within. I bump up from within, boom, make them supervisor, hire somebody else, and I don't necessarily even have to deal with this person. I can, but now I got supervisors that know the tasks that need to be done. They know the business. Okay? So again, like, I'm not telling you guys not to do autopilot, not to run on autopilot. I'm not telling you not to grow. But you don't want to put yourself in a position where you have this area covered and now you have to drive 2 hours out to go to perhaps a new site. Okay? You don't know what to expect. So you get this site, then what? Let's get the lights up, guys. So let's say you drive out, Precious, if you're still on here, okay? Let's say you get that site in Dallas. You're in Houston. Okay, so your relative is going to help you out. But your relative is not you, right? You still will want to know, hey, Jordan, how are you? You still want to know what goes on in this site. See, I didn't just say I didn't have a business in Toledo and I say, well, you know, Detroit isn't that far. It's about an hour away. Shit, I'm about to just shoot out to Detroit. No, when I started business in Detroit, I was living in Detroit. When I started business in Toledo, I was living in Toledo. When I started business in VA, I was living in VA, right? So like I say, you can do this, and this is going from other states, even within the states. Like for an example, from Detroit to, let's say Flint, is about an hour, 30 minutes. Let's just say that hypothetically. About an hour, 30 minutes. Maybe not even that, just depending on who's driving. But I can make that drive. I can make that drive to Flint. Whether I get this account or I don't get this account, because I already have stability. I already have stability in my area. I already have my area locked down. But I wouldn't even be looking at Flint if I didn't have Detroit or whatever, my immediate area locked down. I wouldn't even be looking, if I'm in Detroit, I wouldn't even be looking in Atlanta if I didn't have Detroit locked down. You see what I'm saying? So for an example, if I wake up tomorrow and I say, you know what, I want to move to Las Vegas. First thing I'm gonna do is strategically plan, try to get to know Las Vegas, right? Find me a place, whatever the case is, move out there, and the same thing that I did in Detroit, the same thing I did in GA, in Georgia, Stone Mountain, the same thing I did in VA, the same thing I did in all of these places, I'm gonna just duplicate it in Las Vegas. The principles are the same. I'm just in a different location. I still got to register the business. I still got to get the DV. I still got to get taxes. I still got to understand the law. I still got to go through all of this. The principles are the same. I'm just in a different location. Okay? So I'm trying to help you guys out. Hone in on your area first. I will say it's okay to go maybe 15 miles out away from maybe 20, depending on where you're at. 20 miles out. But don't be trying to go too far out from your main hub when you don't have your main hub solidified, where you don't have it locked down. Okay? And like I say, delegation. Delegation is the key. Whether you have subcontractors or you have employees, it doesn't even matter. It's up to you what you want. What time is it? It's up to you what you want. But start delegating. Start with one person and grow from there. I'm not telling you that bring in a whole school of people, right? Start with one person. Do interviews every single day or every other day, or make a day that you do interviews. I only do interviews on Thursdays or whatever day you pick, okay? And then commit that day to do about 15 interviews. Out of the 15 interviews, you might bring in 3 people. Out of the 3 people, you might wind up keeping 1 person, because out of the 3, somebody might be bound to quit, and you might have 1 person out of 3 people, and you started with 15 people. You got to be ready for no call, no shows. People that set up interviews and no show, no call. You got to be ready for excuses. You know, it's just part of it. You just got to get your mindset ready for that. You got to be ready to waste your time, because sometimes you will. You'll meet up in Tim Hortons, where I'm at, or wherever you at, Starbucks, wherever. And you sitting there, you on your phone, you ready to go, you ready to do this interview, and no one shows. Or you ready to do, the application, and no one shows. So you feel like I'm gonna waste my time. I've been here for a half an hour. I waste my time. You gotta be ready for that stuff, you guys. It's just part of business. You don't like it, nobody does, but you have to be ready for it. Okay. So again, guys, if you don't have any other questions, I'll go ahead and cut this video short. Again, like I say, when you feel to the point that you're tired, start delegating work out. You start getting tired, you start feeling like you're slave to your business. You feel like you don't want to do it no more. Don't quit the business. Already invested in a DBA, invested in, you got your EIN, you got your bank account, you got your insurance, you got all of this stuff. Now you want to give it up because you feel like you're just a slave to the business. It don't have to be that way. It's whatever you make it be. Okay. So that's that. If you guys have any further questions, make sure you like, share, subscribe, and double tap on the notification bell. A lot of people say they don't get my notifications when I go live or when I do videos. Okay. But put in a lot of work, guys. To build the system. It didn't happen for me overnight. It didn't happen for me overnight. It was a process. Okay. And you guys can do the exact same thing I do. You just gotta put your mindset there and do it. I'm Fabio Hart, the only person that could ever stop you from starting up your own dreams and making it to the top is you.
Oh, Carla.